Now, as the Israel-Gaza war drags into its sixth day, the total death toll has risen to 2,500. Palestinian Health Ministry says that 1,200 people have been killed in Gaza in the Israeli strikes that are ongoing as we speak. Now, Israel endured a massive multi-pronged surprise attack from Hamas on Saturday, triggering another war. Now, 1,300 people have been killed in Israel so far. In the latest coming in, Israeli President spoke on the situation just a while ago. He briefed about those abducted by Hamas, including young children and women, and also about the missing and killed foreign nationals. He said that the fight will be a long one and will be drawn out campaign against Hamas.
One of my own advisors was mobilized to remove bodies. I spoke to him last night. He found a family of 5 together, hugging each other, shot and burned. Nothing can speak more than anything than this tragedy. I was wondering what they prayed before they were all shot together. Mother, father, children, babies. The injuries that were found on the bodies of the killed, the people, the removing teams, the rescue teams, which I met in the last 2 days, mostly in Sderot yesterday, found signs of torture on the bodies like anything they've ever seen in their life, and some of them are for decades dealing with pains of war and terror.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has landed in Israel. In a show of solidarity with Washington's closest West Asian ally, Blinken has met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tel Aviv to discuss further boosting military support. He will also meet with Palestinian and Jordan leaders in Amman on Friday. Now, Hamas has reportedly fired a barrage of rockets at Tel Aviv in response to Israeli strikes. The group says that strikes are in response to Israeli strikes at refugee camps across Gaza. Germany has extended its military support to Israel. Country's defense minister confirmed that Berlin will allow Israel to use 2 drones the German Air Force has in use in the country. Now, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has called for an immediate end of hostilities. Just like Vladimir Putin, he too blamed the United States for its role in the conflict. He said that US has been sabotaging United Nations' decision to create a Palestinian state. Now, earlier, the Russian President Vladimir Putin had said that a Palestinian state is absolutely essential. The Israeli Defense Forces have admitted that there were some unspecified indications, but no major warnings. The night before Hamas launched its massive attack, senior intelligence officers reportedly discussed the signs on Friday night and agreed to continue the conversation in the morning. The Israeli forces were caught off guard with the attack that was launched early on Saturday morning around 6:15 a.m. Now, the admission comes a day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected the reports of Egypt warning Israel of a big attack 3 days in advance. The Israeli Prime Minister vowed to wipe Hamas off the face of the earth shortly after forming an emergency unity government. Addressing the newly formed war cabinet, Benjamin Netanyahu declared, and I'm quoting here, "Every Hamas member is a dead man." Netanyahu has temporarily settled his political differences with the opposition by including centrist former Defense Minister Benny Gantz in the new government formed for the duration of the crisis. Now, Israel has amassed thousands of troops, tanks and other heavy armor around Gaza as it executes a total siege of the Strip before launching a ground offensive, reportedly. The threat of a multi-front war is also looming large as Israel came under fresh attacks on its northern borders from militant groups in neighboring Lebanon and Syria. Now, these militant groups are supporters of Hamas. Supplies ran low in the Gaza Strip, where power went out last evening after the only power station in the territory ran out of fuel. With this, all medical facilities risk going out of operation within days. Currently, they are sustaining on generators, and this could trigger, reports say, a greater humanitarian crisis. On the other hand, the US President Joe Biden made his first call for restraint over Israel's response to Hamas's attacks. He has been urging Israel to abide by the rules of war, even as more arms and ammunition supplies from Washington keep on arriving in Israel. The US confirmed that at least 22 American citizens have been killed in Israel. Now, correspondent Jody Cohen, who has been reporting from the front line, has sent us this latest report from Ranana.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken has landed in Israel. He'll be meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Herzog and senior officials here. And I think he has like 5 key areas he'll be working on in a very tightly packed schedule. Number 1, he wants to ensure that Israel has the means to defend itself, so that might mean considering whether or not to send more aid. He's already said that a second aircraft carrier is in the region if it's needed. Number 2, it's thought that he will bear witness to what's been described by the US as ISIS-like atrocities from Hamas. Number 3, he's expected to work to ensure that others don't join in the fighting. We've already seen rockets fired from Hezbollah in Lebanon. We've seen Islamic Jihad in Lebanon try and infiltrate the border into Israel. We've seen shelling from Syria and the threat from a militia in Iraq also to get involved if the US intervenes. Number 4, he's expected to work with counterparts to locate and secure the release of hostages. 17 Americans are either confirmed as hostages or are still missing. And number 5, he's expected to work towards securing a humanitarian corridor for Gazan civilians with Israel and Egypt, both of whom have borders with Gaza. And then on Friday, he's going to be traveling to Amman, where he will be meeting with Palestinian Authority President Abbas. So he's going to have a very busy trip here, and we'll be following that. This is Jody Cohen for WION World is One.